This is a breaking political story with enormous implications. The Trump administration has just frozen $18 billion in federal funding for New York City and New Jersey infrastructure projects. The move was announced by Trump's budget director, Russ Vought, only hours after the government shutdown began. In his statement on X, Vought claimed the freeze was necessary to stop federal funds from being spent on what he called unconstitutional DEI principles. The announcement stunned state officials, contractors, and political leaders across the Northeast. The projects affected are not minor. They include the Hudson Tunnel, a massive rail link connecting New York City with New Jersey under the Hudson River, and the long-delayed Second Avenue subway expansion in Manhattan. These are projects that carry national significance for transportation, commerce, and security. The freeze means construction will halt, jobs will be lost, and costs will inevitably spiral. Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey reacted bluntly, calling the move absurd and illegal, accusing the White House of playing political retribution with taxpayer dollars. What makes this even more striking is the timing. The freeze came as Democrats withheld their votes on a government funding bill, demanding that Republicans extend Obamacare tax credits. Those credits lower healthcare costs for millions of Americans and are set to expire at the end of the year. Without them, healthcare premiums would rise dramatically, and congressional Republicans refused to consider the extension, which led directly to the shutdown. By targeting projects in New York and New Jersey, Trump officials appear to be squeezing Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who represent those states. But this political gamble carries risks. For Republicans in New Jersey, the timing could not be worse. The state is just a month away from its governor's race. Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli was already trailing in polls. Now, with thousands of jobs at stake because of Trump's freeze, Republicans are seen as jeopardizing their own constituents' livelihoods. Analysts say Ciattarelli's chances may have collapsed completely. Democrats are already framing this as Trump sacrificing his own party's prospects in New Jersey to pursue a vendetta against Schumer and Jeffries. Legal experts argue the freeze itself may not last. Federal judges are likely to intervene because the funds have already been allocated by Congress. The claim that DEI principles somehow invalidate infrastructure spending is being dismissed as nonsensical. That means the money will almost certainly flow again, but only after delays, lawsuits, and cost overruns. Even if the courts reinstate the projects, the political damage to Republicans in the region is already done. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York vowed to keep fighting. She told reporters, "We don't surrender," framing this standoff as Democrats holding the line to protect health care subsidies and essential programs for working families. Democrats say the broader issue is Trump's ignorance of the policy stakes. Reports from inside the White House suggest Trump didn't even know what Obamacare tax credits were until Schumer and Jeffries explained it in negotiations. Within a day, Trump couldn't remember Jeffries' name, referring to him vaguely in public remarks. Critics describe this as yet another sign of Trump's decline and his inability to focus on key issues at the heart of the shutdown. Meanwhile, public opinion is turning. Early surveys show more Americans blame Republicans than Democrats for the government shutdown. With Trump inserting himself so directly into the infrastructure dispute, his party owns the fallout. And that fallout extends beyond health care and transportation. Thousands of workers across New York and New Jersey are facing uncertainty. Families counting on paychecks from construction projects now find themselves collateral damage in a political fight. This controversy also highlights how much is at stake nationally. If the freeze remains in place, America's busiest transit corridors could face catastrophic delays. The Hudson Tunnel project, in particular, is considered critical to the entire Northeast economy. Without it, rail travel between New Jersey and New York could collapse within a decade. By halting progress now, the Trump administration is jeopardizing not just regional infrastructure but also national supply chains and the U.S. economy. International observers are watching, too. New York's financial hub and its transportation arteries are central to global commerce. Instability in such projects signals to investors and allies that U.S. domestic politics can disrupt infrastructure at any moment. That reputational cost may linger long after the freeze is overturned. The next 48 hours will be pivotal. Lawsuits are already being prepared. Democrats are pressing their case that health care subsidies must remain in any funding bill. Republicans are divided, with some New Jersey conservatives furious that Trump's decision has put their election prospects at risk. All eyes are now on the federal courts, Congress, and the White House. Will the freeze hold? Will the shutdown end quickly? Or will the stalemate drag on, deepening the economic and political crisis? This is a moment that could reshape not only the Northeast corridor, but also the balance of power in Washington. If Trump's move backfires, Democrats may strengthen their negotiating hand, while Republicans in swing states suffer. If courts strike down the freeze, Trump's credibility as a political strategist may take another hit. And if the healthcare subsidies expire, millions of Americans will face higher costs in the new year.